What would you do if your own mother humiliated your husband at your wedding? Have you ever had a family member embarrass you in front of everyone you care about because of their prejudices? Well, what Maya Ellis endured on what should have been the happiest day of her life will make your blood boil. On a beautiful summer day, Maya married the love of her life, Damian Cole, a talented black entrepreneur with big dreams and an even bigger heart. The ceremony was perfect, filled with joy, family, and hope for their future together. But during the reception, Maya's billionaire mother, Margot Ellis, turned celebration into humiliation in front of wedding guests. She openly questioned whether Damian was worthy of their family name, whispering cruel comments about his background and success. Here's the twist that nobody saw coming. The billionaire mother who mocked her black son-in-law for being unworthy just became his employee. And this revenge was years in the making. If you've ever dealt with family racism or watched prejudice poison special moments, this story will restore your faith in karma. Hit that like button right now, because what happens next is absolutely incredible. The wedding was just the beginning of an epic power shift that changed everything. Maya and Damian's love story was the kind that restored your faith in true connection. They met at a business conference, bonded over shared dreams of building something meaningful, and fell in love with each other's ambition and authenticity. Their engagement was pure joy. Two people genuinely excited to build a life together. The wedding ceremony was everything they dreamed of. Damian's family welcomed Maya with open arms. Her friends adored his kindness and intelligence. Even the weather cooperated, giving them the perfect summer day they'd hoped for. But Margot Ellis had other plans. Maya's billionaire mother came from old money and older prejudices. To her, wealth wasn't just about financial success. It was about maintaining social hierarchies that kept people in their proper place. She viewed her daughter's marriage as a threat to the family's carefully constructed image. During the reception, while Maya and Damian danced their first dance as husband and wife, Margot began her campaign of humiliation. She cornered wedding guests with whispered poison disguised as concern. "Are you sure he can handle our world?" she asked Maya's godfather, loud enough for nearby tables to hear. She questioned Damian's business credentials to his college friends. She implied to her own social circle that he was probably after the family fortune. Every comment was calculated to plant seeds of doubt about his worthiness. The worst moment came during the toasts. Instead of celebrating her daughter's happiness, Margot made pointed remarks about hoping this works out and learning to navigate different backgrounds. Her words cut through the celebration like ice water. Maya watched her perfect wedding day crumble. Guests shifted uncomfortably. Damian's family looked confused and hurt. The man she loved maintained his dignity, refusing to let prejudice turn him bitter. But she could see the pain in his eyes. Damian never responded to the attacks. He focused on Maya, on their love, on the future they were building together. But something hardened his resolve that day, a quiet determination to prove his worth through actions, not words. Maya's wedding should have been the happiest day of her life. Comment if you experience family members who let prejudice poison special moments instead of celebrating love. The months following their wedding were the most challenging of Maya and Damian's young marriage. Maya found herself caught between the man she loved and the mother who raised her. Family dinners became battlefields of passive-aggressive comments and uncomfortable silences. Margot's interference didn't stop at the wedding. She, accidentally, left Damian out of family business discussions. She made pointed comments about Maya's new lifestyle and questioned every business decision Damian made. The message was clear. He would never be accepted as family. But while Margot focused on tearing him down, Damian was quietly building something extraordinary. His business philosophy was simple. Serve your community authentically, treat employees like family, and adapt to change faster than your competitors. While other companies chase short-term profits, Damian invested in long-term relationships. He hired from diverse backgrounds, created flexible work environments, and built a company culture based on respect and innovation. Maya watched her husband work 18-hour days, not to prove anything to her mother, but because he genuinely cared about building something meaningful. She saw him turn down lucrative deals that didn't align with his values. She witnessed him support employees through personal crises and celebrate their successes like his own. Slowly, Maya realized something profound. Her mother's wealth came from inheritance and investments, but Damien was creating real value from nothing. While Margot's portfolio remained tied to traditional, inflexible sectors, Damien's company grew through genuine connections and adaptability. The growing divide became clear. Margot's success depended on maintaining old systems. Damien's success came from building better ones. None of them realized that economic upheaval was coming. Change that would favor innovation over tradition, community over isolation, and authentic leadership over inherited privilege. Damien chose character over revenge. Share this if you believe success is the best response to prejudice. When the pandemic hit, it changed everything overnight. The world Maya and Damien knew was suddenly turned upside down, and the economic foundations everyone had taken for granted began cracking under unprecedented pressure. Margot's vast empire, built on traditional investments and old-world business models, started crumbling immediately. Her real estate holdings in commercial office buildings became worthless as companies went remote. Her hospitality investments hemorrhaged money as travel stopped. Her retail partnerships collapsed as shopping patterns shifted permanently. Billions in losses mounted week after week. For the first time in her life, Margot Ellis faced the possibility of genuine financial ruin. Meanwhile, something remarkable was happening at Damien's company. All those years of building flexible work environments and authentic community connections suddenly became massive competitive advantages. His employees were already trained to work remotely. His customer relationships were built on trust, not just transactions. His business model was designed to adapt, not just endure. While competitors laid off thousands of workers, Damien's company maintained full employment. While others struggled with remote productivity, his team thrived. Revenue actually grew as traditional competitors failed to meet changing customer needs. Maya found herself right in the middle of this transformation. She started advising Damien's strategic planning, discovering she had a natural talent for business analysis that her mother had never bothered to recognize. Working alongside her husband, she saw firsthand the brilliant leadership that Margot's prejudice had blinded her to. The family dynamics shifted completely. Maya stopped attending her mother's crisis meetings about saving the family fortune. Instead, she spent her time helping Damien navigate unprecedented growth opportunities. The ultimate irony emerged when Margot's financial advisors delivered their desperate recommendation: acquire a thriving company in the innovation sector to offset massive losses in traditional investments. There's a company that fits perfectly, her lead advisor explained. Strong leadership, loyal workforce, adaptable business model, growing market share. It's exactly what we need to stabilize the portfolio. The target? Damien Cole's company. Margot approached the acquisition without a trace of her old arrogance. This wasn't about status or control anymore. This was about survival. She was so desperate to save her crumbling empire that she didn't even realize she was about to make her son-in-law her boss. Margot thought she was buying a lifeline. She had no idea she was handing over complete control. What happens next will shock you. The acquisition negotiations were surreal. Margot Ellis, who had spent years questioning Damien's worthiness, now sat across from him desperately trying to buy his company to save her own financial skin. But Damien and Maya had structured the deal brilliantly. While Margot would technically own the company through her purchase, the operational agreements ensured that Damien retained complete management control. Maya emerged as a strategic director, bringing her own vision and newly discovered business talents to the partnership. The first board meeting after the acquisition was a moment Maya would never forget. Margot walked into the conference room expecting to assert control over the company she'd just bought. Instead, she found Damien at the head of the table, chairing the meeting with quiet authority. Maya sat beside him, presenting quarterly projections with confidence and brilliance. "Good morning, Margot," Damien said with professional courtesy. "As the operational director, I'll be running today's meeting. Maya will handle strategic planning updates." The realization hit Margot like a physical blow. She wasn't the boss here. She was the employee. The man she had mocked for being unworthy was now her supervisor. The daughter she tried to protect was now his business partner and strategic equal. Despite years of humiliation and prejudice, Damien showed remarkable grace and victory. There was no petty revenge, no public embarrassment, no cruel payback. He ran the meetings professionally, treated Margot with respect, and focused on building the business rather than settling scores. Maya watched her husband's character shine even brighter in triumph than it had in adversity. His leadership style remained exactly the same, collaborative, respectful, focused on results rather than ego. The company thrived under their unified leadership. Employee satisfaction reached record highs. Customer loyalty strengthened. Revenue grew consistently. Everything Margot's prejudice had prevented her from seeing about Damien's capabilities was now undeniably clear. The woman who once questioned her son-in-law could handle her world and now worked in his, learning daily that true leadership has nothing to do with inherited wealth and everything to do with earned respect.